last but not least, we have Kat Butler.
And I have to apologize. I'm not a speaker, but I do enjoy writing, so I'm just going to have to read you
That's okay.
my story. I am Catherine Butler. I'm on the board of directors for SEPA. I'm also a mother of 2 children, one of them who has PANDAS. So up until a few years ago, I've always had great insurance. Growing up, I had several surgeries, and going to good doctors or getting it covered was never a concern. When I married my husband, we got the best insurance his company offered, and once again, I never worried about care or coverage. When our daughter Addie was 17 months old and my son was 10, my husband died suddenly, and after COBRA ran out, my children were put on Medicaid. To be honest, at first I liked it. The doctors there they were already seeing were covered, and my son's asthma medications were now free instead of the normal pricey copay. Then at the age of 4, my daughter got strep throat. No big deal, only it was. She was treated with the usual antibiotics, but a month later she started having an eye tick. I thought it was strange, but I wasn't too concerned. Then she started with other odd behaviors. She was obsessed with touching certain things. She had to finish certain things. She started screaming when I would leave her in Sunday school. Her drawings regressed, and though she had been potty trained for almost 2 years, she started wetting her pants constantly. Combined, these symptoms did start to concern me, but the alarm bells really went off when she woke up one night screaming for 3 hours because her toes wouldn't cross. I made an appointment with her pediatrician, who wasn't concerned at all, but agreed to run some labs. When they came back, he said that they were totally normal and gave us a referral to psychiatrists or psychologists. When I asked him about PANDAS, he said that her strep titers weren't just low, but abnormally low, which meant in his eyes that she could not have the disorder. When we left that day with no answers and really no idea of how to proceed. Thankfully, a friend of mine is a pediatrician, and I sent her all of my daughter's labs as well as symptoms. She called me back and said something isn't right and you need to try to get in with a doctor who's familiar with PANDAS. I was able to find a doctor, but they were not accepting Medicaid for PANDAS patients, which I really felt my gut was what my daughter had. You see, PANS and PANDAS patients take a lot of time and effort. Since it's a clinical diagnosis, you have to get an extensive history, many lab tests to back up the diagnosis, and lots of time trying different medications and other therapies. It truly goes way beyond the normal 10-minute office visit. Since they did accept Medicaid for normal patients, I wasn't even able to pay out of pocket to see them, since you can only have one pediatrician. So we waited. Several months later, the doctor dropped Medicaid, so we got on their waiting list to be seen as an out-of-pocket patient. In all, I think we waited almost a year, long enough that when we finally stepped into their office, I cried. They had already ordered labs, so we went over the results, which, along with her symptoms and history, showed that she was a pretty textbook case for having PANS and PANDAS. I'd love to be able to tell you all that my daughter's doing great and getting the treatment that she needs is easy, but I can't. As a single mother, paying out of pocket for an office visit for any doctor has a huge impact on me financially. While Medicaid does pay for labs and most medications, one antibiotic that her doctor prescribed was going to cost $650 a month, so I just couldn't get it. While many kids do see drastic improvements on IVIG, my daughter's labs are borderline for getting IVIG covered by Medicaid for immunodeficiency. That means I have to wait for her to get sicker before we can get her the treatment to make her better. And in the meantime, I'm watching her childhood slip away. She will turn 9 on New Year's Eve, and I have to wonder, will she remember any of this in 10 years? Will she wish that she had been able to stick with gymnastics or go to more birthday parties? That I don't know. But I do know that there has to be a better way of affordably and properly diagnosing and treating these kids, and that's why I'm here. By ensuring that the treatments outlined by the JCAP treatment guidelines are covered by Medicaid, this would allow children like mine to get the treatment they so desperately need, promptly and affordably. I'd also love to see the Department of Health be a gateway of dispersing information to local pediatricians and other healthcare providers so that they know how to diagnose and treat and who they can consult with for the tougher cases. For children to be our future, we have to protect the present. Thank you.
Bennett, you want